Hi, my name is Lillian. I'm 58 years old and have experienced 34 years of covert domestic violence, otherwise known as narcissistic abuse. But I'm not just a survivor, I am more than a conqueror in Christ Jesus. If this is your first time, thanks for stopping in. And to get a wider scope of what I talk about here, you can look in the description box. There's a link that says why I'm here. If you're returning, I'm sorry you're walking through this, but I'm glad you found your way here. And you know, I'll always remind you to listen to my content with that one question in the back of your mind. Is my marriage difficult, or am I married to a dangerous man? That's the motivation for this channel, what my marriage was like and how I woke up to the truth that my husband wasn't a difficult, clueless guy when it came to relationships. No, he knew a lot, actually, and that's what makes him such a dangerous man. If you're starting to wake up and think that this might be your reality, please be gentle on yourself. You're about to step on a rough ride of truth, a darkness you've never experienced, but just know that you're not alone. I'm here for you. I hope this channel will be a source of awakening, validation, healing, and will show you how God uses a righteous divorce to free you from bondage of narcissistic abuse in your marriage. Hi there, this is Editing Lillian. I just realized I forgot to put my little warning. If you've been listening here for any length of time, you know I like to warn you. If you are someone, when I was researching narcissistic abuse and I was coming awake to the truth and the realization of what I had been living in, I wish someone had have reminded me, okay, when you listen to the content, you might feel these weird sensations or feel overwhelmed inside your body. And your emotions are reacting to something that the speaker has said that's resonated with what's inside your nervous system. And I wish someone had have told me to pause the video and how to regain my balance and emotional equilibrium by praying and grounding myself. That's why I preface every video with that warning. It really would have helped me to be reminded repeatedly that what I was experiencing was normal, a normal experience of waking up to something that is indescribably difficult to put into words. So that's why I always say, pause the video, pray, and ground yourself. And you can use the verses I've listed in the description box. And that when you experience these overwhelming emotions that make you feel like you're going to die, to press into them and see what they tell you about yourself, that they're normal. It's a normal reaction in your body, just like when we feel physical pain to tell us something's wrong. Fear and triggered emotions, they're telling us a warning that something is wrong and something needs to be healed and restored. I understand you can't always press into it because you might be listening around someone who's not safe. And this is a better time to practice grounding. You can always come back to that emotion though and sink into it and let it surface, and so you can examine it and never stuff it and ignore it. This is how we blind ourselves and how we got to the place that we're in right now. Don't ignore those emotional warnings that your soul is showing. In this video, I'm continuing with future faking, sort of. There's a tell that wives get when they aren't being cleaved to. It's just that some of us ignore it. This tell is a feeling of loneliness. Lack of cleaving is linked to lack of connection, which is how you end up living in the future fake instead of staying in your present experience. I'm going to try and delineate how that progression happens so that hopefully you'll be able to see the contrast between feeling lonely in the present while at the same time being faked about a future event. The reason narcissists future fake is because they won't live in the present time. Not for very long anyway, because that's where empathy, authenticity, and vulnerability about a person gets exposed. They'll experience with you in the present time in short stints, and it will be all surface experiences. The longer you're in an interpersonal exchange with a person, the only place for that experience to go is deeper. You felt it. When you're with a person that won't go any deeper than the surface, the longer you stay in the conversation, the more awkward it gets. Staying in the present with a person is where you experience relationship. It's where the connection between two people is created and grows. Without connection, you'll never feel any emotions. You cannot know a person without experiencing connection. Biblically speaking, the word know, or the phrase to know, is used as an euphemism for sex, the act of intercourse. But that's not quite right, because that's an incomplete understanding of what it means to know. There is intercourse in sex, but that's the second part. To know is the first part, and it's got nothing to do with intercourse. It's the connection that happens in the emotions and feelings. To know a person means to love them. This is true for all healthy relationships. It's the invisible part, the nurturing and the caring of the relationship, the reciprocity of emotions, affections, and feelings. It's friendship, any friendship. In romantic relationship, connection through friendship also happens. They know you, and you know them. Then there's the added bonus of intercourse. But intercourse is not knowing. Intercourse is not the isolated destination. It's the final manifestation of being known. Intercourse without that foundation of being known is prostitution, which is why you feel like a prostitute when you're married to a dangerous man. In friendships, we know each other. It's balanced and reciprocal. If you don't know someone, or that someone doesn't know you, you're not sharing a relationship. When Jesus says to know in Matthew 7, he didn't mean intercourse, he meant relationship, friendship. When the judgment day comes, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, in your name we spoke God's message, by your name we drove out many demons and performed many miracles. And then I will say to them, I never knew you. Get away from me, wicked people. Jesus is saying, you thought you knew me, but the truth is that I never knew you. I tried many years to know you, to be your friend, to be in relationship with you, but you would not let me know you. So we were never in a relationship. You're a stranger to me. These false believers did all those religious works without a relationship with Jesus Christ. They were pretending they were going to heaven. They thought they could future fake God their whole lives. The same thing in 1 John 4. He says, we have come to know and believe the love that God has for us. It's a feeling of being loved by God. John isn't talking about intercourse either. He's talking about the feeling of emotions that happen during relationship connection, the inner feelings of perceiving and receiving. That's what it means to know. It's the feeling that God loves you. For the sake of clarity, the word believe has nothing to do with knowing. To believe is the analytical part, the mental acknowledgement of the truth, that God is love and he's real. Satan also believes God is real. So, a dangerous man future fakes because he doesn't want connection, so there's no intention to initiate it. In marriage, the word for intentional initiation is called cleaving. He won't cleave to you because then he won't be able to maintain hiding the truth about what he is and what he thinks about you. Remember, Covert narcissist. A covert narcissist is a misogynist. His wife is an extension of himself. She's an appendage created for him to make his life easier, better, funner. He demands that she cleave to him, which is the opposite of what God has commanded husbands to do. He will not say it using words. You won't hear it with your ears. Remember, plausible deniability. But you will feel it from his body language, his countenance, and his tone. Another aspect to refusing to cleave to you, he wants to hurt you by drawing you into conflict. It's the opposite of cleaving. Cleaving creates a feeling of love and being bonded. Anti-cleaving creates a feeling of stress and distance and division. It's loneliness. It's an overall sensation of loneliness. If he can bait you into a fight, he can then strategically withhold connection from you through a diversion. He actively places you in real pain in your emotions and distracts you from the wall where he's hiding his real self from you so that you cannot get in to know him. Like those fake believers blocked Jesus from getting to know them. In marriage, this is anti-cleaving. I don't care a rip about anything your husband has said to you, what he's said to you or promised to you, or what he's promised about the two of you. Words are really cheap. I know that's cliche, but it's true. Anybody can say anything. But nonverbal communication is what sheds light on the truth within a message. This is why you must always disregard what he says in the moment. Let him prove his love and integrity through the patterns of behavior and his character. What you witness and experience is the feeling that will tell you the truth in the future. His repeated patterns prove whether he's cleaving or anti-cleaving. God didn't tell husbands to cleave only in the beginning of the relationship, and then at some future time you can stop. According to Strong's Concordance and Vine's Expository Dictionary, to cleave is in the aorist tense. Aorist means always present, always future. It started at some point in time and it never stops. To capture the intention of what God means in the aorist tense, it would translate closer to sound something like to be always cleaving to your wife. Even though grammatically that's incorrect, the intent is clearer. If you're married to a dangerous man, that love bombing that felt like cleaving in the beginning, lots of intentional initiation, lots, mega. But if you've been married to that dangerous man, that was love bombing with fake cleaving. I can guarantee you it has stopped by now. If you've got the mental strength and the emotional fortitude, this can be a great defining revelation for you. Painful, yes, but clear. Unfortunately, we can't see faults up close, like as a play-by-play when it really happens, because it's hidden deception, right? Manipulation, coercion, deception, and lying can only be observed as patterns of particular behaviors as they emerge over time. Your two keys to seeing future faking are time and fruit. In Deuteronomy 18, God says, time is necessary for a proof. You have to wait and see. When a prophet speaks in the Lord's name and the message does not come true or is not fulfilled, that is a message the Lord has not spoken. The prophet has spoken it presumptuously. Do not be afraid of him. And in Matthew 7, God says time is necessary to expose the truth. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit. Neither can a bad tree produce good fruit. every tree that doesn't produce good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. So you will recognize them by their fruit. In both of these examples, there's an expectation on us to wait on God, to wait and watch, to experience true or false, so that we can scrutinize between the good or the rotten. And that's when darkness gets exposed with light. In marriage, exposing sin in a male isn't done with words. It's done with how you respond in your actions. And this is especially true. It's done for healthy men that are difficult, but it's especially true if you're married to a dangerous man. Confronting a covert abuser with words will not create collaboration. It will not help him. It will not heal him. And it will not make the relationship better by knowing each other more. What you end up doing is giving him narcissistic supply through his drama, which is what he wants in the first place. And that's why we ignore baiting. Whether you're married to a difficult husband or a dangerous man, the counsel from God is the same. But the reveal is that the reaction from a difficult husband will be very different than that from a dangerous man. Your ability to follow God's guide when sin is present in marriage, that's the knife that God has given you in 1 Peter 3. It cuts between truth and lie, and it lets in the light that exposes the darkness. As you quiet, as you pull back from something in the relationship that doesn't feel good or seem right, whatever that thing is, pull away and push into God. You're actually pulling back from the bad behavior. The covert narcissist will push back at you with more negativity when he sees that you're pulling away, because you're pulling away that supply. But you won't feel drawn to him. You'll feel passive aggression at the same time. If your husband is a healthy masculine male, he'll want you to call him out on his crap, just not in an emasculating way. He knows he needs you, and he wants to be a better man, and he knows he needs your help to reflect back to him, to help him. That's what a helper is. He doesn't understand how you do it, but he accepts you as his co-heir. This means his motive is healthy. It's not to fight with you, but to solve a problem through the collaboration found in cleaving to you. Remember, the covert narcissist will not collaborate with you. He believes your purpose for him is to be consumed by him. I did a video about this. It's called Consumption or Collaboration. I will link it in the description box. You train a husband not by talking, but by waiting. This is the essence of 1 Peter 3. A healthy man will own his responsibility as a male created in God's image. He won't do it perfectly, but he will cause a stir in your soul. You will feel his heart entering into you, not his words coming at you. You'll feel pursued and chosen because he will seek you out. You'll feel understood and known for who you really are as a woman because he's learning about you and you feel that. You'll feel accepted, valued, and loved as though you are part of his very own body. Now here's the tricky part. The malignant man also wants to be called out on his BS. His motive, though, is not to cleave. Rather, it's for the sake of the drama that comes with conflict. Not to be a stronger couple, not to be a better man, not to have a deeper relationship, not to be a better dad or a more godly man. He won't seek you out to accept you and love you and take care of you for you the way he takes care of his own body. Because he's a misogynist, he believes you were created for his body. As ugly as it sounds, you are viewed as his appendage. Confronting him about sin when he sins against you or offends you or hurts you, or fighting with him, it just gives the dangerous man a steady supply of drama, which he consumes as narcissistic supply. You give him more ammunition for more drama in the future. That's future faking. God really knew what he was doing when he tells us wives to be quiet when we see sin present in the man we're married to. Quietness is the key to your safety. If he's dangerous, pulling back horizontally and pressing in up vertically towards God, it puts mental and emotional distance between the two of you. It's something you need if you're trying to get your head straight and clear to heal from narcissistic abuse. The closer you get to God, the more you focus on God. The dangerous man, he hates it. He eventually, after you stop taking his bait, he will pull back and pull back and pull back until he leaves. Remember, it's the opposite of cleaving. But a healthy husband, the closer you get to God, the more responsibility he takes for you as his own body. He cleaves more to you. Closing thoughts. First, shh. Don't say a word about this to him. Discovering that your husband's dangerous is a scary place to end up. It's never where you thought you'd be, and it feels like an unreality. But your silence about your awareness of what he really is, that's your safety zone. And always remember, a clueless guy that causes dysfunction and seems difficult, he's not dangerous. But the malignant man is not clueless. He just pretends to be difficult and dysfunctional so that he can hide how dangerous he is.